In Shavasana is where we'll start, laying completely down on our backs. Remember, Shavasana stands for, or can be translated into, corpse pose. So I want us to try to find some stillness, some calmness, as we just relax. Relaxing can be really difficult for some people, or just sometimes. Notice if you're finding it easy or difficult to get into our relaxing posture. And if we are, that's okay. You don't need to be hard on yourself. Remembering in yoga, we have no judgment, no ego, there's no competition. It's one of the very few times throughout the day that we can just do this one thing without needing to worry about anything else, taking care of our body, noticing if there are any aches and pains while we're laying down, and focusing on our breathing. So important to practice that intentional, active breath. Noticing our inhale, and then noticing our exhale. As we do, noticing how the air fills the lungs, and then noticing how it leaves. This slow, intentional breath helps us feel relaxed, helps us find focus, especially if your mind's wandering. Something we always have with us is our breath. We're able to focus on the inhale and focus on our exhale, keeping our attention. This is called mindfulness, when we're able to think about just one thing, staying present and not judging ourselves for it. Helps us gain some perspective, some clarity, if you will. Now, as we continue practicing our breathing, I'll ask that we just bring those arms all the way up over our head. Really nice long reach here. Feeling ourselves hopefully a little bit more relaxed as we're just stretching through our shoulders. If it feels good, you can even stretch a little bit over to the right side, repeating over to the left when you're ready. Making sure that you're listening to the body, changing the poses as you feel they need to be changed, making any modifications if that helps. We'll relax the arms down as we gently gather those knees into our chest. Give ourselves a big hug as we start to rock right to left with our hug. You might notice some knots in your lower back. You may feel some pinching in the hips, or maybe you feel pretty good and it's just comfortable holding the legs. Again, we're just checking in, a little bit like a body scan or an x-ray as we go through our yoga practice, figuring out how each part of the body feels today. Continuing to hold those knees into the chest, just go ahead and roll the ankles. Give them a nice little roll here. Slowly bringing both feet down to the ground. Heels are nice and close to the body as we bring our arms down by our side, coming into a few glute bridges. Shoulders secured in the mat, head flat on the ground with nose pointing straight to the sky. We're going to inhale, lift the hips up, and exhale, slowly lower. Try to keep the feet flat on the floor the whole time. Inhale, lift up, squeeze your glutes. Exhale, slowly lower. Just a few more. Inhale, lifting up, shoulders stay flat on the ground. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up, strong through the core. Exhale, release. And one more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. Slowly working our way over onto hands and knees. We'll find ourselves coming up into our tabletop position. Hands directly beneath shoulders, spreading our fingers, knees underneath hips. Let's make sure our feet are flat in the back so that we're not causing more tension by curling the toes under. Pull the bellies up, nice flat backs as we find spinal balance. Reaching the right arm forward, thumb towards the ceiling, and then press that left leg back. Lower down. Inhale, left arm, right leg. Exhale, down. Inhale, right. Exhale, working through that hip and shoulder extension. Inhale, left. Exhale, one more each side, trying to find nice balance. Right. Exhale, lower. And inhale, left. Exhale, holding it here. Finding thoracic mobility next. I'll ask that we take our right hand up to the ear if we're able to. We'll inhale, open the elbow towards the ceiling, and exhale, draw the elbow down towards the left arm. Inhale, open. Exhale, nice and slow, please. Inhale, open, find your range. Exhale, down. Feels so good in the shoulders and ribs. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. One more. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. Take the hand, replace. Now bring the left hand up to the ear. Inhale, open that elbow nice and high. Exhale, lower. Notice how this side feels today. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. Inhale, open. Exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale, last time. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. Releasing the hand, both of them are down, finding cows and cats. Inhale, untuck the tailbone. Open the chest into cow. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the back up to cat. Inhale, opening. Exhale, round. Inhale, open, nice long neck. Exhale, round. And one more time. Inhale, open. Exhale, round up as high as you can get. Pressing back into child's pose. Sinking your hips as low towards your heels as you're able to today. Extend those arms and relax your head. Staying here for just a moment. I want everyone just to notice your breathing. Notice if your mind is wandering or if you're able to stay fairly focused today. Let's try to stay in child's pose, please and thank you. Staying with your head down to the floor. We're preparing next for our thread the needle. So while in child's pose, we'll take our right arm underneath that left shoulder, laying down into your right ear. Take a couple big breaths. How does that feel on our right shoulder? Is it in the arm? Is it in the back? Releasing the arm through the middle. Let's take the left arm under instead. And as we continue to hold our stretches, I want every time we enter a pose for you just to think, how does this feel? What do I feel? Coming through the middle, lifting up into tabletop. Let's step our right foot all the way between hands. Knee above ankle into runner's lunge. We can keep our hands on the ground, or for those of us able to lift up today, let's reach those arms nice and long up overhead. Whether they stay high or come through heart center is up to you. I want us to keep our shoulders down, pull our bellies in. So we're never letting our stomach come onto the thigh. We're pulling the stomach in as we continue to lift the knee, never sinking into a position. Always lifting. Really helpful for joints, keeping everything healthy and safe by lifting and controlling, stabilizing. One more big breath in. Exhale, release the hand down. Take that knee back and we're going to switch sides, bringing the left foot or other foot forward, helping the knee get above the ankle. And then when you're ready, we come up. Again, ensure bellies are pulled in, hips are level. Sometimes they try to twist or open. Try to keep them level, and then we can lift those arms up, shoulders come down. Now just double check that your toes are loose. They're long, same thing as I was talking about in the hip joint, not wanting to sink or clench. We want to open, and then with those toes, we want to lengthen. Kind of think about picking your arch up off the floor, right in the center of your foot. Try to think of lifting. As we hold runner's lunge, just take one more big inhale. Exhale, release the hands down. Sweep the knee back and take the right foot forward again. So we're switching feet into runner's lunge. This time from runner's lunge, we're going to twist it. I want you to keep your left hand beside your foot. Lift that right arm all the way up to the ceiling. Now, some of us, this will be quite easy to find this open position. Others will find this quite challenging. If that's challenging, see if you can just take your hand behind your back today, or even just hold on to your hip. Otherwise, I want your arms straight up, lifting out of that left arm, keeping your big right toe on the ground, knee stacked above ankle, holding for one more big inhale. Exhale, bring it down. Sweep that knee back, switching to the left side. Bringing up through for runner's lunge. Coming into twisted lunge, we leave the right hand beside the foot. And when you're ready, we'll lift that left arm open to the ceiling. Know where your arm is. Know that we're not leaning or sinking into that bottom arm, but lifting away. If we need to modify, we relax the arm down behind us. Otherwise, we leave it open. This left knee is staying stacked. We're staying strong. One more big inhale. Exhale, release down. Bringing the leg back. Let's find ourselves in child's pose again. Noticing if we're feeling any sort of sensation in through those hips, specifically the hip flexors, those long bands that run down the front of our hips from our bellies into our thighs. Now we're going to take ourselves into down dog. So if you're like me and have socks on, you'll want to take those off probably. As we prepare for down dog, we really spread out the fingers, curl the toes, and then lift your hips up. So ideally, we want a sticky mat with skin contact, direct skin contact, bare hands, bare feet. This is going to set us up for success, allowing the most grip. Now, as we hold ourselves in down dog, press away from those hands, lift up through your tailbone, trying to create a straight ramp from your tailbone down your back, shoulders, finally in through your arms into the floor. As we look back at our feet, go ahead and just shake the head no. Loosening up the neck, and then nod the head yes. Good. Now continuing to look back at the feet, now that our neck is loose, I want us to walk the dog. Pedaling the feet, we're stretching through those tired calf muscles running up from ankle to knee. Maybe as we pedal the feet from right to left, toe to heel, we're also feeling some stuff going through the feet, maybe the arches, the ankles, the toes. I want you to just be aware of that. Notice what you're feeling. Now, after this last pedal, go ahead and keep both feet down. See how close you can get the heels to the ground. Some of us, our heels touch. Some of us, the heels are quite far away. Knees can be a little bit bent. I just want your backs to be flat and really try to press your chest through your shoulders. From this position, go ahead and inhale forward into plank. Really happy with our plank. We can take the knees to the floor if you'd prefer, modified plank. Lower completely down, chaturanga. Slow, controlled lower. Picking your body up into cobra, press down through your hands, lift tall through the crown of your head. Oh, big open, nice big stretch. Pressing back into down dog or child. We're going to do that flow 2 more times. Ready? Inhale forward into plank. With or without your knees down, we chaturanga, controlled lower. Cobra stretch, inhale, lift up. Exhale, push back into down dog. One more time. Inhale forward into plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, press back, down dog or child. The next pose we're going to come into is our warrior one. I want you to look up between your hands, kick your right foot all the way up. Help your foot get there if you need to, knee above ankle. And then as we bring our hands just on either side of the foot, we'll step our left foot onto the ground so that the feet are placed about hips width distance apart, both feet completely flat on the floor. Go ahead and slowly walk your hands up your front thigh, continuing to press into a bent right knee. Notice both hip bones and shoulders facing forward. When you're ready, arms are up, shoulders are down. Pay attention to your back heel. Is it down on the floor? You can open your foot a little bit. I just want your heel down. This is going to cause a really nice calf stretch. Really nice calf stretch. Keep bending into this front knee. Now my challenge to everyone today, close your eyes. Maybe that's something that we do all the time and it's easy. Maybe it's something that we find quite difficult. I want us to continue practicing these different skills, noticing how it affects everything else in your posture. Keep your breathing. Now slowly, I want us to bring our hands to our hips, preparing for pyramids. It's a great hamstring stretch. Straighten out your legs. If you feel like you're off balance, go ahead and just widen your stance, shorten your stance. I want us to fold forward. Keep your hips level. Keep your shoulders facing that front ankle. When you need to, you can bring your hands onto your leg, the foot of the floor. There's nowhere that you need to press your hands into. They can stay on your hips the whole time. Everyone's different with flexibility. Keep your backs really nice and flat here. Try to have straight legs, but a little bit of a knee bend is okay. Really nice flat backs. I'd much rather you be high with your hands up on your hips if you can keep your backs flat than with your hands on the floor with a rounded back. You're going to get a lot more out of it with your flat back. Focusing on the stretch of the right leg, behind the knee, up the thigh. Take one more big breath in. Exhale, come all the way down into plank position. Pressing back into down dog or child's pose. Notice how that feels, holding that stretch. We're going to repeat those two poses on the left foot now. Look up between your hands, step your left foot all the way there. Help your knee come above the ankle if you need to. We're planting our right foot on the ground so that the foot is completely flat. Slowly walking up that front leg, find your balance. When you're ready, pull your bellies in, bend forward into that left knee, and lift your arms up. Now watch your shoulders don't come way up, shrugging them. Bring your shoulders down, which might mean that you have to have heart center. Make sure those front toes are loose as we find our controlled breath. Inhale, exhale. Trying to close your eyes if you're able to. Now ask yourself, what are you feeling right now? For me, I'm noticing this all in my calf. Lots and lots through my back of the ankle, up the back of my leg. Maybe you're feeling the same, maybe something different. One more inhale here. Exhale, release the hands down. Now I think this might be too big for me for pyramid, so I'm just going to shorten my stance, maybe make it a bit wider to help me with my balance. Straight legs, we hinge forward. Keep both hips, both shoulders facing the front. As soon as we feel a stretch, we're going to stop. Hands can come onto the thigh, the shin, the foot, or the floor. I want your backs to stay long. And every time you slowly take that big breath out, you exhale, feel free to go just a little bit lower. Remembering, however, that in yoga, where your hands are positioned or how close you are to your toes, how flexible you think you're supposed to be, that's not the point of yoga. We're not competing with anyone. We don't have to look like anybody. Just listen to your body and do what feels good. It's refreshing. One more big inhale. Exhale, slowly lower that down. Take our hands to the floor, sweep back to plank. From here, pressing back into down dog or child. All right, getting ready for our pigeon pose. From down dog, I want us to lift that right foot all the way up to the ceiling, three-legged dog. How high does it go? And then kick your foot all the way up towards your left hand, allowing the knee to drop towards your right hand. You may need to make lots of adjustments, that's okay. Pressing that left foot all the way back now. Notice how far it can go back. Maybe even looking over that left shoulder just to make sure that it hasn't wandered. And when you're ready, We've got both hip bones, both shoulders still facing the front. I want us to decide as we come down onto our hands, if we'd like to try coming onto our elbows instead. And some of us may even choose to rest on our forehead. Now in pigeon, a lot of people will all of a sudden start to feel almost anxious or a little bit maybe panicked, kind of like claustrophobic. What I want you to do is try to breathe, try to calm yourself down, focus on what you're feeling. It's really important. Let's focus on that right hip. Pay attention to it. Pay attention to that level of sensation. Know what it is. It's your muscles, your pieces all connecting that right hip together, stretching out. They're talking to you right now. At any point you can come out of it, but sometimes it just helps knowing what you're doing, and it kind of calms everything else down. Let's take one more inhale. Exhale, slowly coming onto the hands if you weren't already, sweeping your feet back, finding downward dog again. And go ahead and just wiggle that out. I'm actually going to wiggle through my hips. You can pedal your feet. You can bend your knees. Just taking a check-in right now as we prepare to repeat that three-legged dog to pigeon pose series on the left leg or the other leg. When you're ready, join me with lifting the leg all the way up to the sky. Big inhale. And then exhale, sweep towards your opposite wrist, so to the right hand. As the knee settles in towards that left hand, we can take our gaze back towards that right foot, making sure the leg is coming down long, parallel with the long edge of your mat. Meanwhile, that front leg is trying to be parallel to the top edge of your mat. Resting on hands, elbows, or even down on your forehead. Notice how it feels. And remember what I was just talking about, that fight or flight. Not allowing that kind of feeling, that need to panic or get out of the pose to sink in. You have control. I want you to decide or choose to relax. Choose to close your eyes. Choose to stay focused. Choose to listen to how that left hip feels right now. Slowly, we're going to come up onto our hands, press back into down dog. And again, you have the right to choose if you're wiggling, if you're staying still, if you're bending the knees. Holding down dog for just another moment. We're going to be transferring onto our stomach. Go ahead and take that inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, slow chaturanga, lowering all the way down. Just make sure that you're happy on your mat. We're going to just lay here, just relax for a moment. Now while we're down here, notice that we want to try to keep shoulders and hips still. Make sure they're level, whatever that looks like for you. As we prepare to come into bow, we're going to do half bow, taking first your right knee and bending it, so you're bringing your foot in towards your bum. Take that right hand and try to grab the foot. Now some of us, we can grab the foot quite easily. I actually prefer to hold my ankle. So if you're able to hold your ankle, it's just a little bit stronger, less flimsy, more powerful. Go ahead and do that. Trying to keep your knees together. Now, sometimes we're just not able to bend the knee that much. That's when you're gonna grab your pant leg or a sock instead. This is just fine to grab your pant leg, absolutely fine. Now, legs in nice and close. Push that left hand down underneath your left shoulder. I want you to squeeze your abs, push that foot back. Going to help open up that shoulder. Take a couple big breaths. We want both hip bones down on the floor. Try to keep your belly on the ground as we just lift up from the chest. Feeling a stretch through the right shoulder and in through the right thigh for one more inhale. Exhale, slowly release. We'll set up for the other side. Bending the left knee. Go ahead and reach for that left leg. What can you hold on to? Is it the foot, the ankle, the pant leg, your sock? Try to keep your legs close together now as we press that right hand down. Squeeze your bellies, lift up. Press your foot in against your hand. Causes a little bit of active tension. Helps stretch that left thigh, left shoulder. We'll hold this for a couple of breaths. Again, try and keep your hip bones down. Body facing the floor. Lifting up, one more big inhale. Exhale, relax. Hands underneath those shoulders. Pressing ourselves up through Cobra. Nice long extension. Elbows soft, shoulders down. And always, always wearing that crown proudly on top of your head. Slowly press back into child's pose. Oh, I'm feeling lots through my hips, my back right now. Noticing a little bit of extra length maybe that you're feeling. Over here, we're going to continue stretching the shoulders. Walking both hands to the right edge of our mat, placing that left hand on top, and then pulling away from the left arm, sitting into that left hip just a little bit more deeply. Noticing any stretch down the left side of your body. Walking our hands over to the left side, right hand on top, pull down away from that right arm. Any differences from right arm to left? Are we feeling anything in particular around the shoulder, through the arm? Coming through the middle, we'll come forward onto our mat one more time as we slowly lower ourselves down, preparing for our scorpion. This is a wonderful chest and bicep stretch. Bring those arms out to the side. Make sure you have enough room where you're positioned on your mat, setting up for success. We'll start by taking our right hand underneath our shoulder. Bend your right knee or both knees if you prefer as we roll over that left straight arm. Only pushing yourself as far as you can control as we stretch through the front of that left arm. You may need to position or reposition depending on how that felt. Just holding it here. I'm trying to get my knee up to the ceiling, foot on the floor. If you have both feet raised, you'll try to get them together. That's too much for me today, so I'm just going to do one knee. Good, let's slowly roll onto our stomach, completely flattening out with our arms out to a T. And when you're ready, we bend that left elbow, hand is right underneath our shoulder. We can bend the left knee or both knees, and then roll over the right arm. Again, just trying to put the foot flat on the ground, knee to the ceiling, whether it's one or two. Slowly coming onto the stomach. And now with both hands under the shoulder, our final Cobra Stretch. A little bit bigger, a little bit grander if we can, a little bit higher off the hips. Pressing back into child's pose one last time. I'm actually going to open my knees wider into this final child's pose, trying to sink down just a little bit lower. Slowly coming all the way up. I'll ask that we take ourselves all the way onto our backs now, where we'll do a few exercises laying on our back, preparing for final rest. What we're going to start with is another big stretch for the back. Beginning in Glute Bridge, we walk our heels in nice and close to the bum. Hands are down by our sides. We're going to be holding this, so I want us to take a big inhale. Squeeze your abs, squeeze your glutes, lift up and hold. Now notice how this feels. Now interlace your fingers if you're able to, and roll and round up onto your shoulders. Lifting your hips just a little bit higher. Try to keep your feet flat on the floor. Your legs are in line. They're not widening out. They're staying nice and strong here. Take one more big inhale and exhale, slowly release. Now the next layer is the wheel. We're going to do wheel. Keeping your legs exactly where they are. I want everyone's hands up beside our ears. Fingers face towards your shoulders. Elbows are squeezing around the head, pointing up towards the ceiling. Some of us will only be able to get up a little bit. Some of us will be able to get all the way up. Just listen and see if we can keep trying here as we squeeze the glutes. Press down through your feet, lift your belly, press down through your hands, and try to come up off your head. Big stretch for the arms, the shoulders, the back, front of the hips, keeping your feet flat, your knees pointing forward. And whenever you feel like you need to come out of it, you can join me and slowly tuck your head, rounding all the way down on your shoulders and your back, and then coming off the arms. Give yourself a little bit of a wrist roll. Maybe stretch your hands, getting them into that position. Nice big stretch. Good, and go ahead and give your knees a big hug. Just rocking casually, right to left, noticing how that felt on your back as we prepare for figure four. Laying down with figure four, we'll take our feet on the ground, cross the right ankle over the left knee, and just press that knee away. Some of us, this will feel really good and we'll just be able to relax while we stretch our right hip. Others will need just a bit more. We take our hands under that left thigh. Try to relax your left leg as you use your right elbow to press that right knee just a little bit farther away. Try to relax the muscles in your face. Close your eyes if you are comfortable doing so. And calm your breathing. Fantastic. Slowly releasing both feet down to the ground. And we'll cross the left foot over. Now just make sure that you haven't twisted. Your back is still flat. Maybe we just push the left knee away and relax here. Otherwise, threading hands underneath that right thigh, picking the foot off the floor. Again, trying not to twist. Your back stays flat on the ground. And you can use your left elbow to press that knee away. Calm through the face. Couple nice, big, deep breaths. Noticing that left hip, anything down the thigh, and releasing down. Next, I'll ask us to take the right leg up again, but this time we'll hold both hands behind the leg, whether we're holding the thigh or up near the ankle. Start rolling the ankle. I want us to notice everything we're feeling. As we roll through the foot, roll the ankle, feeling those stretches down the leg. And now keeping hold with that right hand, we can bring our left hand down to the floor for support as we open the leg out into a split position, like a straddle. You're driving that leg still towards the face, but open now towards the floor, keeping both hips, both shoulders flat on the ground. I like keeping the knee bent. It adds a lot of support and stability as we hold this stretch for the right groin, the inner thigh. But if you need more, feel free to straighten that left leg down completely. We're just taking a couple of breaths here. Again, it's not where your right leg is positioned, it's how it feels. So I want you to pay attention. Some of us may need to bend that knee in order to get the right stretch. Very good. Now slowly bring that leg back up and just release it down. Getting ready to repeat that on the left side. We'll bring the knee into the chest, straighten that left leg all the way up, holding either the calf or the thigh, and then go ahead and just start rolling that ankle. Feels so good. Relax your shoulders. If you can, just keep your eyes closed. Not very often through the day that you're told just to lay there and notice how you're feeling, focusing on your breath. Really try to enjoy the stretch. As we keep a hold of our left leg with just the left hand, the right arm comes down to the floor for support. And we'll bring that left leg open out into our single leg straddle split. Try and keep your hips and shoulders flat on the ground. straight through the left leg unless you prefer it to be bent. Feeling the stretch up through the inner thigh and through the groin area. And if you need more, you can straighten that right leg down to the ground. Holding it here. Slow, deep breaths. And slowly releasing the leg through the middle, all the way down. We'll go ahead and just take both feet on the floor, bending them open into butterfly. Soles of feet pressed together, knees are wide. I like to bring the arms onto the belly for this one, where we can relax the shoulders, relax the face, maybe even the backs peel up off the ground. As we let go of our abs, feel the belly rise with each breath in. And feel the body completely relax as we breathe out. Helping the knees in together, preparing for our final stretch, which will be spinal twist. Let's bring those arms out to the side. Take both knees up about 90 degrees. Allow them to lower over to the right. And then we can look over that left arm. Notice any stretch through the rib cage, any stretch across that left bicep into the chest. Couple big, slow, heavy breaths. Every time we breathe out, we feel our body just melt a little bit deeper. Slowly lifting those knees up and lower over to the left. Once we're there, see if we can keep both shoulders pressing into the mat as we look over that right arm. Lifting both knees up and lowering down. Now feel free to keep your feet on the floor, knees bent. I'm going to encourage you, however, to take Shavasana. Lengthening out your legs, opening up from the hip. Arms can be on the belly or relaxed by our sides. As we close our eyes, trying to soften the muscles in your face. If you're scrunching your eyes, letting them go soft. If you're clenching the jaw, just dropping the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Noticing the fingers just gently curling into the palms of the hands. And feeling the entire rib cage just expand and then contract deeper and smaller. Noticing our heart rate slowing down, that beating in our chest, as our breath continues to come slower and deeper. Now I'll ask that we slowly start to wiggle our fingers, just reawakening the body, checking back in with the room where we are, rolling the wrists and ankles, releasing any final cricks or cracks, encouraging nice blood flow. And then take our time as we bring the knees up and maybe lower over onto our sides, sitting all the way up nice and tall. As we come into our final resting position to say our last goodbye. It's really, really pleasant experience with everyone today. I am so grateful that we were able to do that together, taking our full body stretch. Now, I am going to say thank you